Today I will tell you a story that I found very interesting. The event takes place in Istanbul Boys High School in 1925 and it is completely real. Let's start the video. In the year 1925, one of the German teachers, Mr. Bessin, was appointed to replace Mr. Lutfi, the principal of Istanbul Boys High School. It was precisely in this period that the strangest and most absurd event of Istanbul Boys High School took place. The 10th class was a class of 40 people, filled with hardworking, successful students. The bell of teachers rang. The corridor became empty and all the students went into their classes. Teachers started lesson. The lesson of the 10th class was the Arabic lesson. Teacher Salih entered the classroom. As he was sitting on the chair, he took off his robe and strengthened it with both hands and folded it. Then he put it in his chair. At that time, he realized that something was in his robe and lifted the robe. He saw that there was a needle in this chair. The needle was just where he was going to sit. Mr. Salih slowly took his rubbers without breaking his seriousness. Then he wore it out after seeing it in the notebook. He returned to the whole class. I am not worthy of this treatment. He left the class. There was a deadly silence in the classroom. All students were surprised. The joke that was made or was planned backfired. Mr. Salih was a teacher who respected his profession and loved his students very much. This gesture, more precisely, had never deserved this joke. He was alone with an event he had never encountered his professional life. He thought for a while. Then he went to the principal room, namely Mr. Bessin, and told what happened. All thought Bessin tried to calm Mr. Salih, but Mr. Salih's pride was hurt once he left the school. After that, the school went on a red alert. It was decided to convene the disciplinary board and investigate the incident in depth. Students weren't dropped out of classes. Classes were cleaned. The principal interrogated the whole class at the same time and asked that the names of the students who caused this incident be given to him, but no one gave a single name. When they couldn't be found, all classes of the class that week were cleaned. Students were questioned one by one, but the students were repeating the same thing. They all say they had no idea about the incident. No student confessed. The absence of students who did this put in the administrators in a difficult position. With the order of the principal, the 1925 teachers' meeting was urgently pulled forward with full staff. All teachers get hired urgently. The teachers get hired in the teachers' room. Were waiting for the principal to arrive, but there was no principal. While the tea was being served, the principal and the disciplinary committee of the high school entered the room. The principal was very cheerful, and all the teachers thought that the students who prepared this job found, but they were wrong because the students were not found. Suddenly, principal was decided to expel the entire class who made this incident. A large segment of the teachers found it quite appropriate to school the 40-person classroom and to expel 40 students from the school. One of the youngest teachers said, "I don't expect the disciplinary board's decision. The decision is a terrible one. How do you kick out a whole class? Even a murderer have a lawyer before the law if there is no evidence. The crime is the administration's crime, not the students, and not the administration's convicted of finding the criminal. If the administrations cannot find the criminal again, no students can be punished. In addition, this class is a special class made up of the most valuable, successful and hardworking students of the school. Think about it. In the future, there will be people who will show superior services to Mr. Salih and us. Despite this his speech. Neither the director nor the disciplinary committee gave a single answer. Teachers' meeting is over. The class, nicknamed Needle Jokers, was completely closed that week. The students were expelled from the school with their certificates. All students were sent to different schools and Anatolian high schools. 1 year later, it was understood that those who put the needle on teacher Salih were in another class. It would not be understood why Salih teacher was chosen and why put needle in chair. Mr. Salih was one of the valuable teachers the class of Arabic. In those teacher, Atatürk was concentrated his reforms. Those were the days when Atatürk wore a hat in the Kastamonu. Both of teachers and students embraced this spirit. Then they realized that Salih teacher, who can only go to the school with robe. So the students put the needle in his chair. This was the fairest form of protest of the time. Would you like to me to count was in class? Which class conferred the true needle jokers of 1925 and confused their crimes? 2028 Said, Jussi Said, known among his friends as H2O, famous writer Said Faik Abasyanık. 697 Rahmi, famous physician, politician, poet and mental health spellcase Rahmi Duman. 748 Sahbet, the famous lawyer Sahbet Nezihi Bölükbaşı. 725 Feridun, famous journalist and writer Hikmet Feridun Sabri Efendi. İhsan Sabri Çağlayangil, former foreign minister, one of the most unforgettable figures in Turkish politics and diplomacy. Sıtkı Efendi, Sıtkı Ircalı, one of the famous minister of the Democratic Party period, and many more were among those needle jokers. They all come out of the famous needle jokers of class. The following statement of Hikmet Feridun Esin became very famous. Were 43 needle jokers, but later so many people proudly claimed that they were from the needleman class. It is impossible to be surprised.